Hi to everyone. This is YUVARAJ, working as an environmental engineer, PSG Institutions. I am very happy in welcoming you for this virtual visit. Today we are going to see about the sewage treatment plant. So before going into the details of this sewage treatment plant, initially I am going to brief about the different stages of treatment or different process of treatment which are taking place in the sewage treatment process. All the wastewater treatment process or sewage treatment process is divided into 4 different stages of treatment, namely first one, the preliminary treatment; second one, the primary treatment or the chemical treatment; the third one is the secondary treatment or biological treatment; and the final stage is the tertiary treatment. So we can see 4 different stages of treatment process, where in each of these stages different pollutants are removed. First, coming to this preliminary stage of treatment. So as the name implies, preliminary, so it is a sort of treatment. We can't say it is exactly the actual treatment process, but some stage of polishing the raw effluent, and then we are feeding into the exact treatment process. So in case of this preliminary treatment process, it involves mainly the removing of the floating substances. Lot of floating substances you can see in case of the wastewater or sewage. Lot of plastics, lot of glass bottles, leaves, twigs, and so many things will be it will be passing through the sewage, right? So all these things should be removed, right? So for this removal only we are going for such type of treatment known as preliminary treatment. So in case of preliminary treatment, the floatables are removed. So along with this preliminary treatment, we are going to see the other set of treatment process, also known as the flow equalization. The different types of treatment process involved in the preliminary stage of treatment is, first one, screening process, right? We employ different sizes of screens. For example, fine screens and coarse screens are employed in case of the preliminary treatment process, where the floatables are removed. So first process is screening process, and then after screening process it is sent to the equalization sump or equalization tank, where lot of things are equalized. As the name implies, equalization, here many things are equalized. For example, the flow of the sewage is to be equalized, then only it can be sent to the reactor. And the pH of the effluent has to be equalized in the sense it has to be neutralized, right? It should not be highly acidic, it should not be highly alkaline, so it has to be neutralized. So all these aspects are governed in case of this equalization sump. So these the screening process and this equalization process comes under the preliminary treatment. After the preliminary stage of treatment, the actual treatment process takes place. It starts with the primary treatment or chemical treatment. So here, in case of this primary treatment, some chemicals are employed or involved, right? So the chemicals are known as coagulants. So here, as I have already mentioned, different types of impurities are removed in different stages of treatment. For example, you might have seen in case of preliminary treatment, the floatables are removed in case of preliminary treatment. Coming to this primary treatment, there will be many suspended impurities, right, which cannot be removed with the help of the screens, simple screening techniques. So these suspended impurities are removed by employing or applying different chemicals. These chemicals are also known as coagulants. So these coagulants are employed in the tank, and it is mixed thoroughly to remove the suspended impurities present in the raw sewage or wastewater, whatever may be. So that is the main principle involved in the primary treatment or chemical treatment process. After this primary or chemical treatment process, the next stage of treatment is the secondary treatment or biological treatment. So as the name implies, it is purely a biological treatment, where microorganisms play a vital role in removing the impurities present in the sewage or wastewater, right? So in case of this secondary treatment, it involves different stages. For example, it may be an aerobic process or it may be an anaerobic process, right? In some sewage treatment plants only aerobic will be present. In some sewage treatment plants there is a combination of anaerobic and aerobic treatment process. So Here the impurities like BOD and suspended impurities are removed further, right. So there is a drastic reduction in the BOD level. BOD is nothing but biological oxygen demand, and also more amount of suspended solids will be utilized by the microorganisms. These microorganisms, right, in the secondary treatment, they utilize the suspended solids present in the wastewater or sewage as food, whereby decreasing the amount of suspended impurities present in the effluent, right, and also a drastic reduction in the BOD level, biological oxygen demand, will be seen over here. So that is the principle involved in the secondary treatment. So after the secondary treatment process, the final stage of treatment is the tertiary treatment or advanced wastewater treatment. So in case of this tertiary treatment, the remaining impurities, so in the first stage of treatment, preliminary treatment, the floatables are removed, and in case of the primary or chemical treatment, the suspended impurities are removed, and coming to the secondary or biological treatment, again the suspended impurities and BOD and all those things are removed, and at the last stage there will be some amount of again suspended impurities and TDS, total dissolved solids. So all these things will be present in the final stage, which will be removed only in the tertiary treatment process or in the advanced wastewater treatment process. So in case of this tertiary treatment process, we employ different treatment techniques like RO, reverse osmosis, electrodialysis, ion exchange process, and various other process for removal of different pollutants present in the sewage. And after the tertiary treatment, the final sewage which is coming out, the final effluent or sewage which is coming out will meet the pollution control board norms, which is sent for further reuse, either for gardening purpose or for toilet flushing purpose. So that is the brief description about the entire treatment process. Now we will go into the actual detailed aspect of the process which is involved in different institutions. This is the entry point of the sewage or the wastewater which is transported from various parts of this institution. So this is the entry point where from this chamber it enters into the screen channel. So this is the screen channel. So it is nothing but manual screening as well as mechanical screening. So manual screening is nothing but we are having screen bars, right, inside where it is screened. The solids are screened and it is manually taken out and cleaned or scavenged, whatever may be. And here along with it is the mechanical screening process, where here you can clearly see the brushes, where these brushes help in removing the solids which are attached to the screen, perforated screen over here, over this place. So this screen here, it is an attached one, and this mechanical process helps in removal of solids, right, which is taken and it is collected in the bin which is nearby to it. And after which the solids which are collected over here are manually taken and it is taken for further decomposition. So this is the screening process. So here both manual screening as well as mechanical screening is taking place. So in this manual screening process, we are having different screen sizes, that is from the core screen, different sizes of core screens and different size of fine screens are over here. So it is based upon the impurities which are transported from the sewage. Accordingly we will fix it, and the solids are removed over here. Some parts of solids are removed over here, and the remaining it is taken to the fixed screen, fine screen mechanical screening process, where the solids are further removed. Fine. After this screening process, that is the preliminary treatment, the sewage enters into this collection sump. This collection sump is also known as equalization sump, where a heterogeneous mixture of the effluent enters, and here inside this collection sump only the wastewater is converted to a homogeneous mixture, right, because it contains I mean the wastewater from different parts will be having different characteristics. So it has to be homogenized before the actual treatment. So for that purpose the entire wastewater from different sources are collected over here, and hence the name the equalization sump, where all the parameters of the wastewater are equalized. For example, pH has to be corrected. One source will be having a different pH, then another source will be having a different pH, and DO content, one source will be having a different DO content, the other source will be having a different DO content, right? So it is a heterogeneous mixture. So it has to be collected over here and it has to be converted to a homogeneous mixture before the actual treatment process. So that is what happening in this structure. So this is nothing but a sump, underground sump below GL, right? It is also known as the equalization sump, where pH, flow rate, right, and other things are equalized and sent for further treatment. So this is the collection sump, where the entire wastewater from different parts after the preliminary treatment is collected. So inside this collection sump, we are having diffusers, so, right? It is nothing but simple tube diffusers, and these diffusers, they generate or they diffuse oxygen or air inside this collection sump. So this is not actually to increase the DO of the wastewater, but for an thorough mixing of the wastewater. Okay, here this part which you are seeing is nothing but the flow meter sensor, right? So the inlet flow into the reaction chamber as well as the final treated water outflow is measured over here. This is measured with the help of the flow meters like this, right? So these are electromagnetic sensor flow meters, whereby the sensors are fixed in the pipeline, right, whereby the flow can be quantified or optimized, whatever may be, right? The meter is fixed inside, the sensor is fixed in the main pipeline. So this is nothing but the inlet flow meter, where the flow of the wastewater from the collection sump to the reactor is optimized or regulated. So this air is pumped or generated with the help of the blowers which is present behind this, I mean inside this room. So this is nothing but the maneuver control room which is present above this collection sump, and inside this maneuver control room only the blower units are there. The blower units nothing but the compressors which are present inside, right? This low capacity compressors pump the air inside this collection sump into the wastewater, where the wastewater is uniformly mixed, and also it slightly increases the DO content, dissolved oxygen content of the wastewater, which enables for better treatment. Inside this collection sump, along with the diffusers, we are having the submersible pumps, submersible sewage cutter pumps, which are used for transporting the wastewater or sewage from this unit or from this collection sump to different parts of the treatment. So this pump is submersible sewage cutter pumps, which enable in transporting the wastewater from the collection sump for further process. So these submersible pumps are coordinated with the drives because we cannot do throttling. So these drives enable us to maintain the correct flow rate and also to minimize the current. So these drives, variable frequency drives, are helpful in throttling the flow rate without increase in the current. So it has got the diffuser pipes along with the submersible pumps. So these submersible pumps aids in transporting the water from this structure to the next part of the treatment process. So after this the wastewater or sewage entering into the collection sump, it is pumped to the next stage of process of treatment. So as I have already mentioned before, there are different stages of treatment. It starts with preliminary treatment, next is primary treatment, secondary treatment, tertiary treatment, like that I have told. But here actually, in case of sewage treatment, we need not go for the primary treatment or chemical treatment, right? We can directly go for the secondary treatment or biological treatment. So that is what you can see over here in this treatment plant, right? So from the collection sump, the sewage is pumped to the biological treatment process or the secondary treatment. Here it is a combination of both anaerobic as well as aerobic type of treatment. Not only aerobic, not only anaerobic, it is a combination of both. So first, from the collection sump, it enters into the UASBR, nothing but upflow anaerobic sludge blanket reactor, right. So this is the reactor, this is the reactor. So from the collection sump, the wastewater enters into this UASBR, where the sewage is treated anaerobically, and some amount of suspended solids and the other organic loads are removed in this reactor. So it is purely an anaerobic process where it is devoid of oxygen. Anaerobic microorganisms play a major role in this treatment process. After which, from this anaerobic process, the wastewater comes out through the pipe over there, and it fills the aerobic chamber. So this is the aerobic process. You can see the water, right? This is the aerobic chamber where it is taken by the aerobic microorganisms, and the treatment is fully purely because of oxygen. So it is nothing but an like that of an extended aeration activated sludge process. So where from the anaerobic it is taken to the aerobic reactor, anaerobic to aerobic reactor, and here it is thoroughly mixed with the aerobic organisms. You can see the sludge formation over here and the color of the water, all those you can see, and after which it is the supernatant water is taken for further treatment process. So here the detention time, the wastewater present inside this anaerobic chamber, the time the wastewater present in this aerobic chamber is very, very important, right. So that time the organism proliferates, it multiplies, right, and uses the pollutants present in the wastewater as food. So that is the principle involved over here. So the principle is nothing but the microorganism multiplies with the help of the pollutants present in the sewage or wastewater. So these microorganisms use the pollutants as food, and it multiplies. So by using these pollutants, the pollutants and other toxic matters present inside this wastewater or sewage is very much reduced. We can say almost 99.9% it is reduced, right. So from here, so this is the anaerobic tank, and this is the aerobic tank. So it is a combination of both aerobic and anaerobic treatment process. So after this process, it enters into the next stage of treatment. And one more thing, the very, very important thing is, here in the aerobic, as I have already told, here in the aerobic chamber, it is purely because of the aerobic microorganisms. These aerobic microorganisms need plenty of oxygen. So because of that factor, oxygen factor, we are supplying air. This supply is enabled by the compressors present over there. This is the blower shed, where you can see two blowers present inside it. So this is helpful in diffusing air inside the aerobic reactor. So that is very important. With the help of this compressor or the blower only, we are pumping air. So all these needs some technical calculation, and based upon the calculation, we are fixing the optimum amount of air required for effective treatment inside this aerobic chamber. So after that technical data, we are fixing this capacity of the blower or compressor, by which the optimum air is sent into the reactor, whereby the organisms get optimum dosage of air or oxygen, whatever may be, and it enables in effective treatment inside this aerobic treatment chamber. So the next structure you are seeing is nothing but the clarifier, where the wastewater or the water from the aerobic reactor enters over here, right, through this pipe channel. So here the wastewater enters along with the biomass or the microbial population, right. It enters over here, and here it is nothing but a sedimentation process, right, where the sludge or the biomass settles at the bottom, and the supernatant clear water is separated, right. So the biomass separated settles at the bottom, and with the help of the pumps present over there, this biomass is once again pumped. The biomass is nothing but microbial sludge, right. It is pumped again to the aerobic reactor, because this water comes from the aerobic reactor, and as the name implies, it is an activated sludge process. So the biomass is nothing but the microbial sludge, and again the sludge is taken from the bottom, nothing but it is pumped from the bottom, and it is again fed into the aerobic reactor. There you can see right? The water coming out from that pipe, it is nothing but the sludge or the microbial mass which is pumped from the bottom of this clarifier. So, as the name implies, it is a clarifier where the clarified water is taken out and the biomass is separated. So, that is what it is happening over here. So, here we maintain a quiescent condition allowing the biomass to settle by its gravity, with its gravity. So, we are separating the water and the solid over here. So, this is nothing but clarifying the water, and after which the water enters into the weir system over there. Weir system, you can see the clear water entering into the weir system, and from that weir system it is taken to the filter feed sump over there. So, this place where I am standing is nothing but the filter feed sump, right. So, the water from the clarifier enters into this sump, filter feed sump. You can see the quality of the water. It is nothing but the clarified water entering into this filter feed sump. So, here the water is stored, and again with the help of these pumps, it is pumped into this multimedia filters. So, here two filters are present, two cylinders are present. One is nothing but the multimedia present inside this filter. The other one is the carbon filter, where activated carbon is present inside it. So, here with the help of these pumps, the filter feed, the clarified water is pumped inside this. So, as I have already told, the treatment starts with the preliminary process, then secondary process, then the clarified water, then after which there is no tertiary process over here, because sewage does not need primary treatment or tertiary process, right. So, as per the norms, this treatment is more than sufficient to bring the different pollutant parameters within the pollution control board limits. So, after this clarifier outlet, we are going for polishing step. We are not going for any tertiary treatment, but we are going for polishing stage. So, to enable this polishing step, here we are having two cylinders, where in one cylinder different sizes of stones are present. So, that we are mentioning it as medias, different sizes of stones, nothing but silex. We call it as silex, right. So, different size of silex is present inside this cylinder. So, this is known as multimedia. Different types of media are present, through which the clarified water enters. Further, the suspended concentrations are removed over here. Then, after this multimedia filtration, the treated water enters into the second stage of the polishing step, nothing but the activated carbon filter. So, as I have already told, here this cylinder contains pebbles and silex of different grades, and because of the pore size present in between these multimedias, right, the suspended impurities are separated over here, and after which the clarified, again the polished water is taken to the activated carbon filter. So, here this activated carbon filter is specifically meant for removing the color which is present in the wastewater. You can see the greenish yellowish tint present in the treated water. So, that will be removed in this second polishing stage, which is known as the activated carbon filter. So, here it is filled with activated carbon along with fine sand. So, if at all any fine suspended impurities escapes this multimedia, it will be separated in the activated carbon along with the removal of color. So, this is what it happens over here. So, the entire treatment, it is nothing but, it starts with the preliminary treatment, that is nothing but the screen chamber, after which it enters into the equalization sump or the collection sump, where the wastewater, heterogeneous wastewater is homogenized, and it is pumped for further treatment process. So, here in case of sewage treatment, as I have already told, we need not go for primary treatment or chemical treatment, unnecessary dumping of chemicals, and it results in the huge generation of chemical sludge. So, that is not needed. So, we are directly going for the biological treatment or secondary treatment. So, here as I have already mentioned, it is a combination of both anaerobic as well as aerobic process. So, first it enters into the anaerobic chamber, where some pollutants are removed, and after which from the anaerobic chamber it enters into the aerobic chamber, further which more amount of BOD and other pollutants, suspended impurities are removed in case of aerobic treatment. As the name implies, aerobic treatment, it needs oxygen or air. So, which is supplied with the help of the compressor or blowers which you might have already seen the units which aid in pumping the air or oxygen, whatever may be. So that helps in the treatment process in case of aerobic system. And after the aerobic system, it enters into the clarifier mechanism, where the biosolids or the biomass or the biological sludge is separated from the water, and the supernatant clear water is taken to the filter feed sump. From that filter feed sump, it is once again pumped into the polishing cylinders, where further suspended solids are removed with the help of the multimedia filter over here, and the color is removed with the help of the activated carbon filter. So now we are seeing the final stage of treatment. After this activated carbon filtration, this sewage or the treated water, the treated sewage or the treated wastewater enters into the bag filter. You can see the units over here. So here there are 4 units, nothing but it is a bag filter. Cloth bags will be present inside this cylinder, which is of 5 micron size, right? Fine suspended impurities are removed over here. Even the very fine suspended impurities are removed over here, because the size is very less, 5 micron size. Then after which the sewage is passed to the final stage of treatment, the disinfection part. Here we are providing UV disinfection unit. So the capacity is mentioned over here. For this plant, the capacity is 50 meter cube per hour. So inside this cylinder, UV lamps are present, which aid in the disinfection process. The wastewater enters through this part, and the UV lamps will glow inside this, right, whereby disinfecting the wastewater entering into that chamber. So after the disinfection part, the wastewater is collected into the treated water sump. So here you can see the different treated water taken from the different structures. So this is this water which is present in this beaker, which I am holding it in my right hand, is nothing but the clarifier outlet. The clarified water which is coming from the clarifier. So this is the clarifier outlet, in which you can see some amount of turbidness or cloudiness, and also the greenish tint. You can see it very clearly, right? After which this water enters into the different polishing stage, that is nothing but the multimedia filter and the activated carbon filter, and you can see the difference over here. So the turbidness is removed. The beaker which I am holding in the left hand, right, it is nothing but the final treated water which is sent for gardening and other usage purposes, right? So this you can see it very clearly that the turbidness or cloudiness is absent, and at the same time the greenish tint is also removed with the help of the activated carbon filter, which you have seen in the polishing stage of treatment. So this is how you can compare different stages of treatment. You have seen the different treated water, right? So this treated water, the last part of this treatment is nothing but the tertiary treatment. So here there is no actual tertiary treatment, but disinfection part, which comes under tertiary treatment. So disinfection part, as we have already seen, one is UV disinfection, and at the same time I am having some apparatus over here. Here it is nothing but chlorine dosing, right? Chemical disinfection is also present over here, by which I am dosing chlorine, nothing but liquid chlorine in the form of hypo, right, hypochlorous acid. So that is diluted, made into a optimum concentration, and is fed into the outlet water, right? So chemical disinfection is also present. So not only hypo I am giving, also I am giving a TCCA, that is trichloroisocyanuric acid. So that also I am giving in this chemical dosing process, whereby the pathogenic microorganisms are killed. So in all these disinfection steps, utmost care has to be taken, such that it does not affect the plants or humans which gain in touching the treated water. So that utmost care should be taken, and it is calculated before dosing. So here you can see this is the final treated water sump, from which it is pumped to different gardens present inside this institution. So with the help of these pumps, right, so this pump is a monoblock pump, right. With the help of these pumps, the water present in this sump is transported to nearly 2 kilometers inside this campus for different purposes. One is flush purpose, toilet flushing purpose, and at the same time mainly it is used for various gardens present inside this institution. The place where I am standing is nothing but the sludge drying bed. Right, as we have already seen in the clarifier mechanism, the water is clarified. The water is separated from the biomass or the biosludge, right, present over there, and the biomass from the clarifier tank is pumped to the aerobic reactor. I have already told this, but not the entire amount of sludge is pumped to the aerobic reactor. Most of the percentage, only 25% is pumped inside the aerobic reactor, and the remaining sludges are pumped to this sludge drying bed where the solids are separated. So, inside this drying bed, it is nothing but different sizes of blue metals and sand is laid inside this drying bed, where the solids settle at the top and the water, clear water runs below the bed, and it is collected into the collection sump. So, here nothing but the solid separation happens, right. We cannot let out the biological sludge as such outside to the corporation sewer or the Nalla river, whatever may be, right. So, it has to be treated properly. So, for that sludge management or sludge treatment process, we are transporting or collecting the sludge, 75% sludge inside this sludge drying bed, where the biomass is filtered at the top. Only the water enters into the system, right, clear water enters into the system, and it enters the collection sump. So, the sludge is separated over here. It will be sun dried, and further which it is taken for agriculture purposes. It is purely a biomass. The dried solid over here is nothing but purely dried microorganism, which can be used as a fertilizer, good fertilizer, or else this can be used as a compost mixture, outside which we are taking the solid waste from the screens. So, this dried solid waste is mixed with the screenings which we are collecting from the screen chamber, right. This dried sludge is mixed along with the screenings, and it is composted. So, it aids in composting process, as well as it can be used as a fertilizer. So, till now we have seen different treatment aspects which are taking place in the Tecostal plant. So, after which the important part where I am standing now is the wastewater laboratory, right. So, here is the place where the parameters I have mentioned at different times. Pollutants, that particular word I have mentioned a lot more, but that pollutants has to be analyzed before treatment as well as after treatment. So, that pollutant load analysis is taking place over here. So, this is the wastewater analysis lab where different parameters are analyzed, that is before the treatment process and after the treatment process. So, here we are having different instruments, right, by which we are taking a regular analysis of pH, BOD, COD, turbidity, total suspended solids, right, and various other parameters which are essential or mentioned by the pollution control board. So, here various analysis takes place before treatment as well as after treatment. So, both these are compared, and we are complying with the pollution control board norms. So, you can see the different types of instruments in this video which is present over here. Thank you.